The Oklahoma Sooners. Sherry's girls head on the road for one of their, you know how Sherry always likes to send her girls on the road and see what they're made of. Well, they're going to. Pretty good South Florida team. Then they'll go to the Junkaroo Jam out in the Bahamas, where they will face, by the way, USF is 26-8, 13-3 in conference play last year. The Junkaroo Jam will start off against the UAB, that's Alabama Birmingham, and the Blazers, 27-7, 13-3 in Conference USA play. Clemson also in on the docket, 11-9, 1-15 in ACC play. And Tennessee is in the Junkaroo Jam. They finished 25-8, 13-5 in play. All right, in league play, that is. We'll preview the one game for sure against USF plus the Junkaroo Jam for the Sooners. Next, Boomer Sooner 1982. Don't go away. Everybody, my name's Harry James. Before we get to the Junkaroo Jam, let's talk about USF. A game at USF that's a pretty good team at USF. A team that last year, 26-8, 13-3 in the American. They didn't make it all the way to the championships because Buffalo got in their way in the NCAA tournament. 102-79. But not at all bad because their coach is back. Their head coach, a 2003 grad from Florida International, and that is Jose Fernandez, who is in his 18th year with the Bulls. Trying to get the Bulls back on the right, staying on the right track with Mr. Fernandez is number 33, Kajida Laska, and Tamara Henshaw. We'll start with Laska. That's Kajita Laska, who averaged last year at the end 21.1 points per ball game, 3.4 boards, and 1.3 assists per ball game last year for the Bulls. While the Bulls also have this on the horn, Tamara Henson, number 23, Tamara Henson, 6.4 points per ball game, 5.3 boards, and 0.3 assists per ball game for the Bulls. The next four teams, the Junkaroo Jam. That's UAB. That's UAB is, of course, Sooner fans, or anybody knows, Alabama Birmingham. Clemson, the Tigers, the Tennessee Volunteers, and the Oklahoma Sooners. We'll start with the team that Oklahoma will for sure play, and that will be UAB. A UAB team that last year finished with a 27-7 record, 13-3 in Conference USA. It all came to a screeching halt, 91-47 in the second round of the WNIT. That game was at Georgia Tech for the women. Their head coach is Randy Norton, a 1980 grad from University of Iowa, and is in his 6th year in charge of the Blazers. Now, they made it to the WNIT. The next step is to make it to the NCAA. And to get them there, they would need some scorers, and boy, does Coach Norton have scorers. Like number 20, Deanna Kinsmick, and number 32, Rachel Childress. We'll start with 20, Deanna Kuzmarek, averaging 13.9 points per ball game, 3.2 boards, and 3.8 rebounds last year for the Blazers. Well, they also had 32. Rachel Childress, averaging 13.8 points per ball game, 3.0 boards, and 2.0 assists per ball game for the Blazers of Alabama Birmingham. Now, with the women's Junkaroo only having 4 teams, it will be UAB and Oklahoma. The other half of the bracket, Clemson and Tennessee. Let's start with Clemson. 11-9, 1-15 in ACC play. They lost to that same Georgia Tech team. They lost to them 61-52 in the women's ACC tournament. Their head coach is Amanda Butler, a 1994 grad from the University of Florida. And Coach Butler is in her first year with Clemson and the Tigers, helping them get back to where they want to be and better than a 1-15 conference record and an 11-19 overall record. Kobe Thornton and Danielle Edwards. We'll start with 44 Kobe Thornton to start. She averaged last year 11.1 points per ball game, 7.0 rebounds, and 0.3 assists per ball game last year for the Tigers. While Danielle Edwards averaged 9.1 points per ball game, 3.9 rebounds, and 2.3 assists per ball game last year for the Tigers of Clemson. Now we'll talk about the Tennessee Volunteers, who always have a solid women's program. With all that being said, their new coach, they lost to Oregon State 66-59 last year with but they did finish with a 25-8 record, 11-5 in conference play in the SEC. Coach Womack in her 7th year in charge of Tennessee, trying to get them back to where they want to be. There again, number 0, Renea Davis and Avena Westbrook. And we'll start with Agent 0 for Tennessee, Rihanna Davis. 12.0 points per ball game, 7.8 rebounds, and 1.8 assists per ball game last year for the Vols. Well, they also have Ivonica Westbrook. She wears number 2. She averaged last year 8.4 points per ball game, 4.0 boards, and 4.5 assists per ball game last year for the Volunteers of Clemson. And the final team in the Junkaroo Women's Classic, OU, the Schooner Boomers of Oklahoma. 16-4, 11-7 in Big 12 play last year. They lost to DePaul 90-79 in the first round of the Women's NCAA Tournament. Their head coach is Sherry Cole, who is a 1980 grad from Oklahoma Christian University. And Coach Sherry is in her 23rd year in charge of the Crimson and Cream. Trying to keep the tradition alive for women's basketball for the Sooners, not easy, but it's doable for number 20, Shayna Pellington, and number 22, Anna Lanusa. We'll start with 20, Shayna Pellington, who averaged last year 13.1 points per ball game, 2.7 rebounds, and 2.1 assists per ball game last year for the Sooners of Oklahoma. Now, the other half of the leaders last year, she's out for quite a while with a knee injury. She's supposed to be back for conference play, and that is number 22, Anna Lanusa. So the bad part is the injury. The good part is that she is coming back, and last year she's a double-digit scorer. Anna last year, proving that fact, averaged 12.6 points per ball game, to match with 4 boards and 1.0 assists per ball game last year for the Sooners of Oklahoma. Alright guys, thanks for watching. My name's Harry James. You can catch this and all my videos on YouTube. That's Boomer Sooner 1982 on YouTube. Also on Facebook. Facebook I'm out on Harry James Taylor. And I tweet at them at HypeManHarry. Alright guys, thanks for watching and Boomer Sooner, everybody. I'm out of here. See ya.